Dr. Alan Graves had worked the night shift at St. Mercy Hospital for years. He had seen his share of strange occurrences, lights flickering for no reason, whispers in the empty halls, but nothing prepared him for the events of that night. It began at 3:13 a.m., the witching hour of hospitals when even the air felt heavier. The emergency ward was eerily silent, save for the rhythmic beeping of heart monitors. Alan was finishing up his paperwork when a nurse, Rebecca, approached him with a worried expression. "Doctor, there's a patient in room 306. He wasn't here before," she stammered. Alan frowned. The hospital was short-staffed, but they kept meticulous records. No new patients had been admitted since midnight. He grabbed his clipboard and followed Rebecca down the dimly lit corridor. Room 306 was at the end of the hall, a room that had been vacant for months due to renovations. As they approached, Alan noticed the door was slightly ajar, a dim light spilling into the hallway. A chill crawled up his spine. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. On the hospital bed lay a frail man, wrapped in a tattered patient gown. His skin was pale, almost translucent, and his eyes sunken and lifeless stared at Alan. The man opened his mouth, but no words came out. Instead, a faint wheezing sound filled the room. "Who admitted you?" Alan asked, flipping through his chart. There was no name, no medical history, nothing. Just an empty file with a single word written in shaky handwriting: "Hell." Rebecca backed away. "Doctor, something's not right." Before Alan could respond, the monitors started beeping erratically. The man gasped, his body convulsing violently. Alan rushed to his side, pressing the call button for assistance. The moment he touched the man's wrist, an unbearable cold shot through him. Then, everything stopped. The beeping halted. The man lay still. But Alan's surroundings had changed. He was no longer in room 306. The hospital around him had transformed, walls cracked and covered in grime, the lights flickering weakly. The air smelled of decay, and the silence was deafening. A noise echoed down the hall. A whisper. Then another. Shadows moved along the walls, unnatural shapes twisting in the dim light. Alan turned to Rebecca, but she was gone. The bed was empty now. No patient. Only the faint imprint of a body on the mattress. Panic gripped Alan as he stumbled into the hallway. The hospital was unrecognizable: stained floors, shattered windows, and the feeling of being watched from every corner. He rushed to the nurse's station, but the phones were dead. The clocks had stopped at 3:13 a.m. A gurney rolled forward on its own, wheels screeching against the tile. Alan backed away as a voice rasped through the darkness. "Doctor, you left me." Alan spun around. A figure stood at the end of the hall. The same patient. His hollow eyes bore into Alan's soul. Alan's breath hitched. "Who are you?" The patient took a step forward. "You were supposed to save me." Memories flooded Alan's mind. Years ago, a man had died under his care. A case of mistaken identity, a misdiagnosis, a life lost too soon. Guilt clawed at Alan as the patient advanced, his form distorting into something inhuman. The whispers grew deafening, the walls pulsating like a living entity. Alan turned and ran, his feet slipping on the blood-streaked floors. He reached the exit door and yanked it open. Darkness. A scream, his own, echoed into nothingness. Then, silence. The next morning, the staff found Dr. Alan Graves collapsed in room 306, his skin cold, his eyes open but unseeing. The only clue was the patient chart clutched in his stiff hands. One word was scrawled across the page: guilty. No one ever spoke of room 306 again.